Hey everyone, Nick here. Looking at Intel. They just reported, today is 4/23 after hours. They reported the stock is down 55 and a half, 55 and change. So 75. So it's down 5%ish. I think it was down as much as 6%. The report wasn't that bad. They guided. They missed on guidance. I mean, what moron is expecting them to guide anything? They should have not. In fact, weeks ago I said they should make it a rule. So the SEC should have said no guidance, suspend everybody. This way, not one stock. The companies have cover. They don't have to guide. I mean, who's going to guide when they have no sales? It just doesn't make sense. In this case, they do have sales because their selling cycle is different. But anyway, besides the point. They asked me before the close which way it's going to go. I said, your guess is as good as mine tomorrow morning because the overnight reaction for the earnings is a complete gamble regardless. The CEO couldn't tell you. And they know what they're going to say. They couldn't tell you how the markets are going to take it. Anyway, I looked at the open interest and I said down is easier than up based on the open interest. So far I'm right, but I wouldn't have laid a lot of money on it because I have a coin flip top. I mean, gambling. It's like black or white in Vegas, red or black in Vegas, or evens and odds on the table. So, looking at the chart, this is a daily chart. Everybody looks at the daily chart. Looking at the chart, I could have told whoever asked me that it wasn't an obvious entry up here because of where it's at. And I'm looking, the way I look at charts, it's a pivot point. Literally, the downside is bigger than the upside, just literally looking at the charts. All right, so let's put some lines on it. These are the lines that I have already on it. So you can tell I don't commit to which way it's going to go, but I do know once it trips some triggers, I know what it's going to do. For example, this little guy here. At the time, I didn't know what it was going to do here, so I draw before this develops, and look, both of them came true. It spiked and then came back down, and it hit both levels. So that's how everyone should trade, regardless of what you think of the company long term. So the question was, they're looking to buy it long term. And I said, okay, so then you have a thesis. You like Intel for whatever reason. So let's look at the chart. So I see this box right here. So that tells me that at some point in time, this level mattered for a reason. So I need to zoom out to see it. I also see a box right here. And I need to zoom out and see it. So I'm going to take away the drawings so I can zoom out. Two boxes, actually. So I can zoom out. And I'm going to go to a weekly. And I bet you it's not going to be enough. I'll recenter it. So this is 5 years of data. I'll put back the drawings. Okay, so I can tell where they're coming from, but I do remember history with that stock, so I can zoom out. But first, this is the weekly. The stock right now is here somewhere, right here, 55 and change. So at the bottom of this candle right there. So that tells me that it fell below this bar. And if this bar was pivotal, and it was a top, it was a breakout, it was a lost footing, and now it's going to be resistance because we're below it again. All right, and this candle right there, there's a weekly candle, very undecisive. It's a doji. And it's not a coincidence that these two failed right there and these two tried to hold it. And look left. Look how important it was here. I mean, you can't draw it anymore perfectly. And here, so they're going to have a battle. Who's they? The bulls. Tomorrow somebody's going to have to go out and upgrade it or something and say, no, this was good, forget the guidance, and they're going to have to talk it up. So onus is on the bulls to take it back. What is it? This whole bar, this whole area. So if you buy a stock, you want it to rally, right? I'm telling you it's going to have headwinds right there, technically. So it's going to work hard to get up there. So the easier motion is lower, especially if the market falls, then it's going to fall. Does that mean it's going to zero? No. I would like it better on the short term at around 54. I would like it even better down here. Why? Look left. It's inside the yellow box. So hopefully they'll fade this box for this box, and then you get the point of entry that's way better. So $4, that's 8% air math. Why would you want to buy it knowing that it could fall 8%? And the upside, you're going to miss 1 or 2%. So that's my opinion. I'm not telling you to buy it or sell it. I'm just telling you technically it has to work hard to get up above the red box without any help, headline help. And it's easier for it to just, lull lower. All right, so Do the technicals matter? Hell yeah, they matter. And if you don't believe me, you should get in the chat room. Link down below, and I can prove it to you. So this is a monthly chart. Every candle is 1 month. Down here, we called a breakout, and we said it's going to the moon because this was a decade worth of bottoming. And the cup and handle, this is like as good a cup and handle as it gets. I didn't draw it correctly. They should be lower, but it doesn't matter. I was making a point when I did that years ago. So this is about the distance it should have gone. I think the technicians will tell you. I always say it that way. I'm sure somebody that watches my video all the time, God damn it. Okay, so this is the ideal target of this, that white bar. I'm going to leave it there. So they overshot. This was the all-time high. This is not a coincidence and faded there. So this can repeat once they go above this, and then it'll go to 100 and change. I'm not saying don't go long for a long term. I'm just saying shorter term, I'd rather see another, the first dip is not the best time to buy unless you have a specific reason for it. So back to the daily, even smaller. So that's a 2-hour chart. So now they're down here somewhere. For the short term, this should provide some support. However, it's starting to look like a head and shoulders. Now we're talking short term. Now we're talking trading versus investing. Okay, so this, which is what they're fighting for right now, if it's lost, they do this, about this much. Not the end of the world, but that's the number I was looking for, 50-ish, right? So now you see where that number came from. Let's go to 4-hour charts. Now you can see it. They're fighting for this line right here. This is like an empty zone. This was an inverse head and shoulders of sort where this was the target. So now they're falling back into the neckline from which they broke out. Theoretically, this should hold. If for freaked out reasons it doesn't hold on a Friday, they fall back to the next line of defense, which is 52. I don't think we're lucky enough to get 50, but if we do, I'm a buyer. Why? Because then the trade would be for it to find footing wherever, do this, hit that, fade, come back, hit it, and burst. So then you have cup and handle-ish, whatever you want. A neckline that you attack over and over and over from higher lows, hopefully, and then burst through it. So if I wanted to jump the gun and draw it, long day, sorry. I'm not going to bother with it. Just too many lines. So that's the point of Intel. First, you have to know, why am I trading it? Am I buying the dip for the long term? Then it doesn't really matter. 55, 54, 52, it doesn't matter. I should buy the dip. If I'm trying to trade it, then I should expect a hold tomorrow morning here. If not, hopefully I'll get an entry point here somewhere. That's a short-term tradable bottom. This cluster, I think, will hold, should provide some support. This is a pivot, so it should hold here. So that's my opinion on this guy. Plus, you have to see where AMD and NVIDIA are going to report because they move in tandem. 29th for AMD, so next week, and NVIDIA is later, in early May. So if you wanted to play Intel off of these other two guys, then that's the way to do it. All right, look at that. Perfect. I mean, I couldn't have drawn it any more perfectly than this. I didn't know which way it was going. So I draw both scenario and you chase the one that breaks out. When it triggers up here, that's the upside. I mean, I haven't looked at the AMD in a while. That's like perfection. Anyway, Nick signing out.